All right, good morning, everyone. I think my sound might be a little bit problematic this morning, so I'm sorry for that, but it will only be 2 minutes, and then Christine's sound is good, so that's the most important thing. So welcome, everyone. Welcome to Daily Meditation. Welcome to our continued exploration on the topic of fear and fearlessness this week with Christine. If you're joining us for the first time today, this week, you can still catch up on the recordings from Monday and Tuesday, where we explored presence as the antidote to fear, and yesterday 6 helpful steps for dealing with fear-based thoughts. You can find those recordings either on our website under Dharma Library, or also in this platform under the Daily Meditations events. If you click on past, you can find the recordings from yesterday and the day before. So we'll have some time for exploring a little bit more on this theme this morning with the Dharma talk and meditation. And then, as always, a little bit of time for you to bring forth what's arising for you, your reflections, comments, sharing, as well as any questions that you might have. And you can type those in the chat at the end of the session. It's helpful if you hold your question to the end of the session and then type it, so we don't have to be scrolling through all of the chat. And also if you start your question with the word question in caps, that's also very helpful. And then there's also the option to come on screen if you would like to. There's a little hand icon at the bottom of your screen. You just raise that and we can bring you on screen to have a dialogue with Christine. All right. And last thing to say is that these sessions are all run on a donation basis. So we very much appreciate anything that you can offer to support the work of Sangha Live and Christine. That is how we keep going. So also, if you're watching the recordings, please also consider to give if you can. And if you would like to make sure that your donation is also shared with Christine, then that needs to happen. You have to make that donation by midnight on Friday, British time. So that's 1 a.m. for everyone in Central Europe. I know Friday is considered Dharma Day and Dana Day in the Sangha Live community. But if you're not here on Friday, you can also, of course, give Dana any time of the week. So I'll post a link in the chat, but it's sangha.live/donate, and anything you can offer is more than welcome. So thank you very much, everyone, and thank you, Christine.
So thank you, Faith, and welcome back to these daily meditations. I'm happy to be here with you today and to continue our exploration on fear and fearlessness in times of uncertainty. My screen just went blank, so I didn't know what happened, but I guess I'm back. So, a few words on wholeness. The ultimate goal is to become a whole human being, a full human being. And to become a full human being, we need to accept life as it is, with its unpredictability and uncertainty. We need to learn how to accept change. And life is changing all the time. And in the back of our mind, we know this, but still, if you are like me, we persist in trying to control life, holding on to what we like and pushing it away, but we don't. And we also do this with our feelings. We fear our feelings. We fear to feel our feelings. And we don't need to judge ourselves for this. It's quite natural. even though it's not always helpful. So this will be our theme today, feeling our feelings.
Hi, Christine. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah. We are having some reports here of staticky sound, and I'm hearing that as well. I'm just wondering if there's anything, if your mic is maybe not plugged in properly or anything has been bumped or...
Okay, so let me check. How's it now?
All right. Just speak a bit for us.
Yeah, okay, so...
No, it's still crackling. Yeah, it wasn't doing that when we started. Just see if you can just maybe refresh and see if that does anything.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, everyone. Just we'll try and fix this.
Faith, I'm gonna go and get my husband
Okay.
who's better at this than me.
Just
I'll come back soon. Right. Attends, mais je peux peut-être allumer.
Bonjour.
So.
Hi. Je sais pas ce qui va se passer.
Le micro.
Fred? Allô? Yes.
Ah, c'est mieux, je pense.
C'est mieux? Ok.
Okay. So, how is sound now?
It's all good.
Faith, are you?
Yeah, it's good.
All good?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Okay. Well, so just let me come back. Yeah. Find my ground. So, what was I saying? Yeah, that our theme for the day will be to feel our feelings. And so, as we were discussing yesterday, uncertainty generates fear. And in the realm of feelings, fear often shows up through resistance to what we are feeling. So through resistance, we block what we are feeling. We block what is happening. We put an armor on our heart. So we don't want to feel what we are feeling. Of course, I'm talking about the dark stuff here. I mean, the emotions that we don't like, the feelings that scare us because they are powerful. Again, to flesh it out, in relationship to my husband's health that you just met on the screen, I didn't want to feel everything I was feeling. There was a whole array of dark feelings that I didn't like deception, deep sorrow, sometimes anger, hopelessness, even shame sometimes came up. Oh, and the sense of injustice, feeling that this is just not right. It's too unfair. It's all too much for me. So my husband and I have a recurring joke about this. When things get too intense, we say, if things are like this, we'll cancel the project. So I don't know if you find this funny, but it sure makes us laugh. You know, as if we could cancel the project, as if we could opt out. Sense of humor is helpful to soften resistance. So, resistance blocks our feeling. We fear to feel what we feel. And to become fearless, we need to find a way to soften resistance. We need to find a way to connect with our feelings that lie behind resistance. We need to go through resistance. To become fearless, we need to dare to feel what we are feeling, including the dark stuff, including what makes us feel vulnerable. We are all so scared of knowing ourselves, of meeting ourselves in all of the different layers of our humanness, in all of the different territories of who we are, the light and the dark. We're especially scared of the dark stuff. But sometimes we're even scared of the good stuff. Many are scared of being a bad person. You know, if we have all these feelings, maybe we're bad. And we're also scared often that we will be crushed if we feel our feelings. And sometimes we're scared of the humiliation if we show what we are feeling. To become fearless, we need to be genuine. And to get to know our vulnerability is key. Vulnerability, to be here with our feelings when we feel vulnerable, is sort of a recipe for spiritual growth. The prize is to get to know ourselves, just as we are. And in that process of getting to know ourselves, we find peace. Peace is about experiencing every territory that arises in this body, in this mind, in this heart, and holding it into the light of loving awareness. Fear divides. Love brings us together into wholeness. So this is really worth it. I'm passionate about this. Why is it worth it? Because we are human beings. And our feelings are human experiences. And we discover that we are not only this and this and this, but also that and that and that. Our experience of feeling our feelings is transformative. It is a path of healing. Healing and wholeness have the same root etymologically. I can't say that word in English. So we need to discern, differentiate, experiencing things deeply, holding them in the light of loving awareness, and pouring them out on the outside, acting them out. These are two different things. We're talking about feeling our feelings inwardly. Later, we can decide if there is an action to be taken, something to be said. Later. So, feeling our feelings does not dismiss us in any way from having a strong ethical base for our actions. So yeah, doing our homework, step by step, learning how to relate to what is daunting, intimidating, discouraging, disheartening, and so on and so forth. And bringing warmth to the inquiry, calling on friendliness, calling on compassion when there is pain. It can be scary to turn towards what is happening. And when it gets rough, family, like-minded friends, therapists, Dharma teachers can help us with this. Finding the courage to love it all, which is also to be distinguished, as we know, from liking all these territories. So finding the courage to love it all, everything, the shame, the vulnerability, the sorrow, everything. To love it all, we need to remember that love is always loving us. The word courage is another word for fearlessness. In French, the word courage is derived from the word cœur, the heart. So the word courage points both to what we are feeling in our heart, the emotions, the moods, the mind states, and it also points to a fierce determination to feel our feelings. We need a lot of gut. I always come back to this line of Rainer Maria Rilke, the German poet. He writes in his book, Letters to a Young Poet, how could we forget those ancient myths that stand at the beginning of all races, the myths about dragons that at the last moment are transformed into princesses? Perhaps all the dragons in our lives are princesses who are only waiting to see us act just once with beauty and courage. Perhaps everything that frightens us is in its deepest essence something helpless that wants our love. So, as Buddhist psychology reminds us too, we need to remember, in the heart of our heart, love is already here. In the heart of our heart, the pure love we can access is infinite, unalterable, unconditional. Love is always loving you, whatever we are feeling. When teaching this, the Buddha used the imagery of a mother caring for her child. In the Karaniya Metta Sutta, the Buddha teaches, just as a mother with her own life protects her child from hurt, so within yourself let grow a boundless love for all creatures. So, the creatures for this topic of today are our feelings. The Christian imagery points to the same truth. Virgin Mary holding Jesus, baby Jesus, in her arms. The virginity of Mary points to the understanding that love, in its purest form, is divine, untainted, infinite. So we practice in this way. We draw from the infinite source of love that lies in our heart, and we hold our feelings with warmth, all of them, one by one, as they arise, leaving nothing out, cradling them with love. It might help to put a hand on our heart. This is a sacred task, an initiatory task, a heroic task, and a humbling journey. By daring to hold the feelings we fear most with love, our relationship with them transforms. Fear divides. Love brings us back together, unites us. Love is the great healer. Nothing resists love. And as our resistance to what we are feeling softens, you might have a sense of relief, space seeping in, peace seeping in. Even when the situation outwardly has not changed, evolved in a positive way. We have these moments when things start feeling okay after all. In my situation, the grief I am feeling for the life I had before my husband's illness, the grief is perhaps still here. But allowing the grief opens me up to a sense of the richness and the preciousness of life. The vulnerability I am feeling about what will happen next is still here. But to meet it with heart gives me a sense of deep human dignity. It is transformative. It transforms into calm happiness, calm appreciation for life, as I have never quite experienced like this before. With my husband, we enjoy the little moments, nothing special. A short walk in the countryside. Nothing much, he gets tired so fast. But those short walks, that short talk with him, how precious that was. In the evenings, we don't go out much. We mostly watch TV, Netflix. We go to bed early. Nothing that interesting. A few years ago, I probably would have said that it was a waste of time. But my husband is tired in the evenings, so I rest with him. It's quite exquisite to be with him in the room. The love I feel in those moments. So yeah, appreciating life. So let's practice daring to feel what we feel, with the intention of holding all that is arising with warmth and awareness. So to break it all down in 6 practical steps, here they are. Number 1, step 1. Notice if fear is here, perhaps in the form of contraction, perhaps in the form of resistance or distress. And acknowledge that this is suffering. Perhaps sometimes mild suffering, but suffering is here. Step 2. Remember that love is always loving you. Bring friendliness, bring compassion. Welcome, allow, soften, care, touch. Cradle. Step 3. Ask yourself, what am I feeling now? Locate it in the body. Turn towards it. Find a way to relate to it. Step 4. Pause. Explore. Stay in the room with what you are feeling. Feel your feelings. Step 5. Track the transformation, the inner process. Perhaps change of intensity in your body, softening, other feelings arising. Perhaps a sense of relief, perhaps a sense of space. Track what is transforming right here in your body. Step 6. Only much later. Ask yourself, is there an action that needs to be taken? Something to be said? Okay, I've talked enough. Let's meditate. So, settling into presence. Ground under our body. Stretching, growing. To find our vertical axis. Touching the sky. Soft in the belly. Finding our seat in the belly. The seat of life. Right here. Perhaps we can sense in the belly our breath coming and going. opening up. To what is here. Open belly, open chest, open mind. Noticing how everything is streaming through. Through the body. Through the heart. Through the open space of the mind. Coming and going. Allowing everything. Sensations. Sounds. Our breath. Our feelings. Moving through us. And if you are feeling something contracted right here, or a resistance, that's okay. Turn towards it. Remember, love is always loving you. Turn towards the resistance. Turn towards the contraction. Holding it, cradling it, nothing to judge. Welcome all. Allow all. If you wish, you can ask yourself, what am I feeling now? Locating it in the body. Relating to it. This is okay to feel. This belongs to. Nothing left out. Exploring. Exploring more. Every time your feelings get rough, bring love on board. Acknowledge that this is suffering. And we don't care if it is small or big. Bring love on board. Welcoming. Softening. Cradling. And as you do this, tracking the transformation. We're not trying to make things transform. No. Feeling what you feel with loving awareness and noticing. Is some relief seeping in? Perhaps it's very subtle. Subtle relief is relief. How important it is to not miss it. Perhaps some peace is seeping in. Perhaps peace is hard to see at first, to feel at first. because it's subtle. So please don't miss the subtle peace seeping in, if it is there. Rest there. Or perhaps the transformation shows through a difference in intensity. Whatever is transforming, however it is transforming, be with the transformation. So, what are you feeling right now? Hold it in your loving awareness. Whatever it is, whatever is arising. May we all hold in our loving awareness our feelings. right here. Loving it all. So, thank you, friends. It was lovely to meditate with you today. And now we have a little time for questions or sharing. So let me look at the chat. So I'm reading all your greetings, trying to find if there is a question here. Let's see.
I think the first one is from Chris at the bottom, Christine.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Can you see Chris's question?
I can't hear you well, Faith. It's crackling again. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. So I didn't get what you were saying. Sorry.
I think the first question is from Chris.
From Chris.
Explain.
I'm scrolling down.
Towards the bottom, yeah.
Da-da-da-da. Oh, okay. Here I can't find them. There's a question.
Okay.
Is it? So I think I read something before, and now I can't find it. Is it about? Okay, read it, please. Yes.
I'm often aware of times I feel nothing, usually following a threatening event or receiving bad news. I'm aware I must be disconnecting to protect myself, but I have not found a way of accessing feelings at this point. There's just profound blankness.
Okay.
Do you have any suggestions for how to respond to this?
Yes. Okay. So, don't fear the blankness, but you need to tread very carefully. When there's blankness, there's probably something behind that is, that scares you. And so I work with blankness in the same way that I work with resistance, with contraction. There's distress here in that blankness. So the suggestion is exactly the same. Bringing love to that territory of blankness. Cradling it. Not trying to transform it. This is key. We don't want to, with our will, we don't want to try to change this. No, just bringing love there. Yeah. And resting there. And perhaps something will soften, perhaps something will open, perhaps, and perhaps not. And that's okay too. I hope this is helpful. With numbing, yes, we are protecting ourselves. Fear is here. So be soft with it. I hope this is helpful. And again, we can work with this with friends, therapists. Sometimes it's difficult to be alone with some of the territories that are here. I'm reading what Caroline says. When I feel ill in body, I feel depressed, sad, and low in energy. It seems harder to access love then. I tend to dislike myself. Yeah, I know. This is what we do. We turn away. And this is what we need to notice. When we turn away, we need to shift our attention and turn towards. So yeah, it's not about liking our vulnerability. It's about meeting it with love. There's a difference. Yeah. Yeah, Caroline, I'm reading the end of what you wrote. Maybe I confuse liking with loving. Yes, yes. We easily confuse liking with loving. We don't need to like the territories to love them. Yeah, so I'm wondering if there's something else. I'm looking in the chat. Well, I think that's... Oh, I see a question. Sorry. Latest message. Okay, where is that now? Just disappeared again. Yeah, Jenny says, I feel contractions in my body. If I stay with them, the feeling comes up. Yeah. So, is there a question in that?
I think the question is, will the feeling come up? If
okay.
I stay with the contractions.
Oh yeah, if I stay, will the feeling come up? Yes. Thank you, Faith. Maybe, maybe not. Explore this. If the contraction in the body is too intense, you can also go to a safe place in the body, a place where it's not too intense. And from there, you can ask yourself a question: what am I feeling? If it's too intense, sometimes, we just can't go straight to it. Hope this is helpful. I see it's 9 o'clock, so wishing you a lovely day and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.